Pleasant good evening to each and everyone in Georgetown, Guyana, the diaspora and elsewhere. We are very sorry for the technical difficulties just undergone. We have to change it around to this new order. Let me say you subscribe to my channel, then you will get it updated. We all sit down today and witnessing genocide in the world. And yes, I said genocide in the world. Israel. A nation who once suffered under the hands of a man by the name of Adam. When the world was crying out for mercy. And we have seen a lot. And we have learned a lot in this world. And today, we want to make it clear. Why are we trying to repeat history? We learn from the past, and we should not do the same to other people, regardless of the consequences. Many hundreds or thousands years ago, the war was fought with spears on horseback and arrow and bow in chariots. And maybe little cannon that just came out later, but today it's sophisticated ammunitions, bombs, planes. It is not a joke anymore. The noise with the explosion alone could interrupt Mother Nature and create an environment for the entire world. What does we gain by killing one another? But then we come down to one thing: politician, greed, covetous, vindictive, power drunk, people who want to rule the world. They will do anything. They will separate families, turn nations against nations, providing it benefit them. 1947, the Jewish people, after the war of Germany, World War II, the Jewish people was misled all over the world and spread out. They claimed 6 million was murdered by Adolf Hitler. They call it the Holocaust. What cause must we call this one that Israel is doing right now in the Palestinian country? When the nation opened up their arms and the doors to allow them to enter in 1947, 1 year towards that there was a little misunderstanding, and in the 60s there was a bigger one. And we see from Arafat right back, God rest the dead, may he rest in peace. There's still no peace in Palestine. We heard what happened on the 7th of October, and yes, to be honest, we condemn all killing of innocent people. But, unto this day, we did not see our Hamas fighters. We see journalists getting killed who are exposing everything, Al Jazeera. We see UN workers are being killed. We said, just see what happened to the soup kitchen the other day. And even yesterday, friends, in the month of fasting, Ramadan, we have seen a lot. People have been murdered, children live without parents, some with no limbs. But we sit down and we are calling for a ceasefire. But instead of a ceasefire, we are getting more fire. Something not right here. Is it we have lip service for a fellow human being? This world went through a lot. Dictatorship all over, from communism, socialism, capitalism, imperialism. Now what kind of ism we call this? Ladies and gentlemen, we have heard about the history books and the historian in the past. They are responsible for some of the fictitious story they tell and make people believe that 90% of what they're written happened. Again, it is his story. We have heard so much. The Bible spoke about what happened to the prophet, even what happened to Jesus. And also the Quran, the Ramayana. We see India today, China today, Europe today, and the African race today. We see what is happening. This is the 21st century. I do believe that the whole African continent is free from colonial master. Whether you was ruled by French, Dutch, or British or whatever, you are free. You still use the educational standard and the language. You still hold your diploma. And I tire repeating it, and I will say this. Every nation suffers, and every nation contributes something to make this world modern, that we can live a proper life, worship our God, take care of our family, very medical facilities around the world, while men was only living up to 30 and 35 years, 100,000 years ago. Today, we quite agree that in every race there's good and bad, but one of the worst things is vindictive covetousness. When you could kill your own for land, their resources, then we have problems. People will fight back. We see Iran just maybe fire some missile into Israel. According to information, a child get hurt, not dying. It's not dead as yet, or maybe, hope to God, the child ain't died. But my sympathy goes out to the entire world. The Palestinian people, the Jewish people, the Africans and others around the world who are suffering at this present moment over fighting for land, war, killing one another. When will it ever stop? We see Ukraine. We see that in Russia the houses was covered, the roof was showing, and we are still dropping bomb in Ukraine. We see Israel. In the fasting month of the Muslim, we are killing them. The fasting over, we're still killing them. Mr. Netanyahu, the prime minister, seems like he's not listening to nobody. But they are good Jewish people. Good Palestinian, good Indian, good black. They are good in everything as much as bad. But friends, when will this ever stop? Now let me swing from that and show you a little country in South America once ruled by the British called British Guyana, which today they call the Cooperated Republic of Guyana. During the 60s, the late Cheddy Jagan, who studied in America with his wife Jeanette Jagan, according to information, it's alleged the Rosenberg family was annihilated in 1953 because of the communism talk in America. She married Cheddy and went to Guyana, was called Blue Eye Bougie. Dr. Jagan, a son of cane cutter, a rice planter, whatever it is not an objection to the work because we have to live, we have to eat. Some of the greatest people are the producers of food, not those who make bombs and guns to control the world and kill people. But a rice farmer, a farmer, fisherman is much more important than these jokers. While they are making ammunition to destroy one another, the farmers in the rice field and in the farm to bring out your plantain and yam and cassava, potato, and the fisherman is more important than them. But at the same time, everything works together. Every nation had to suffer, but this is the 21st century. Regardless of your language, we must speak with one voice. Enough is enough. I am telling you clearly here, your politicians around the world is the number one case of the world catastrophe. It has to stop. We are not saying you don't have good ones, but take Georgetown, Guyana. During what happened in the 60s to the Indians, another race, they will never forget it. Because if tiger attack you, you're going to remember tiger, ladies and gentlemen. You won't say it's a rabbit. You won't say it's a sheep. You won't say it's a pigeon. No, you would not say it's an owl, nor an eagle. You say what you see, not what you hear or you read. It's what you eyewitness, and you pass it down. Indians will never trust the black race in Guyana. Even though not all the black people were involved in what happened in the 60s. H&L Kisoon turned her workshop, furniture place, into a makeshift tent to help the people who was being beaten, robbed, and raped, and many were killed in Mackenzie, Wisma, Haituni, and other places. Some of them don't even get back their house unto this day. But yet, Mr. Alias, the president of Guyana, went to the UN and talked about the Pan-African slave trade and reparation, but couldn't talk about a solution for those Indian and others who was beaten in the 60s, raped, and many were killed. Their house was burned down, and all things happened until the India was about to retaliate. And then the British sent in the military, and it's quiet. But hotspots still exist, and Indian gonna remember it till they're dead. But on the other hand, or the Indian better be agreed, the black was misled. Indian are vindictive, covetous, corrupt, ungrateful, spiteful, jealousful. Now, again, in that one capsule, there's so many diseases. What is good? But again, you still have good one amongst them, as much as the blacks. But once we continue killing each other, in our own family, our children turn against us. Our wife turn against the husband and put you out. Things happen. Little education and communication is the answer to success for the future. Stop this hatred, killing for land. Take Guyana. Indian fight for land, bribe judges, magistrate, lawyer, bribe the NDC, and housing. There's a story somewhere in Georgetown or the East Coast where an Indian neighbor is fighting for the neighbor land. And when the woman talk over some gutter, some man say he came from housing but don't want she video him and run in his car. We have that experience with the Ali's family at last 3 Bagastong put a wall on our land. And another one up in London, Kenya, named Mohan Lal, say he buy a dam and put a fence was to block a black woman who living at the back, Miss Adams, and to block us from passing. She had to force to sell her place for next to nothing. So not only, and I said to the Indian, you cannot condemn the Jewish people for bulldozing and killing people for the land in Israel, claiming and moving their boundary, because you are worse. Because if you had that opportunity, you'll wipe out your own mother, brother, and son for land, you Indian bastards. But there's good and bad amongst you. Take my sister-in-law in Rossi Gobin with my brother Rexton Chong. That dummy. But again, Guyana shall produce a good leader. All land disputes shall come back in surface. And if you're right, you shall have it. But if you're wrong, yours will be taken away from you and give to the person that you put through all this headache. And any magistrate and judge that take bribe, prosecutor, and police, your days are coming. You might kill a few, but when that time comes, might be all of you. But we don't want to go that way. Our hands are clean. We can support Venezuela right now because it's an Amerindian country, the whole Latin and South America. North America, the Caribbean is an Amerindian nation, 9 tribes. Like Africa is a black nation into Africa. I don't have time to say whether Egypt is Africa, Saudi Arabia is Africa. I got to work about today, tomorrow, the children of today to go forward. Friends, I think we must speak with one voice. And for you, the men in Guyana were beating your wife, killing them light in fire, like the police officer who beat up his wife is on Facebook, swell up all her face and her country information. When she go to report the police and refuse to arrest him, he needs to be arrested and put in the bottom of the jail, man. Then, on the executable course, a young Amerindian man was walking at night and he was attacked. I said knocked down, and he and the man fight. He had a screwdriver or scissors to represent himself. He stabbed the man. Couple weeks down the road after. Is everything operated with cell phone? They said the police station don't even have a phone. The man was to go to court on the 3rd of April. I'm not calling people names, yet a lot of injustice. If you want to get rich, join the police force in Guyana and shake hands with the corrupt politicians and try to be a friend of a corrupt magistrate and judge and prosecutor. But the days are coming when justice shall prevail. No crime shall go unpaid. Take David Granger. It's alleged. When he was in presidency, he said too much a young black boy in jail and I can keep repeating it. But that was not his downfall, was the AFC member after fooling the country and fooling the coolie. Mr. Prasad should be recommended and congratulated to bring down the APNU government at the time because he see a lot of wrong things. But that was not also that bring down that government. He know what you don't know. And let me tell you something here. David Granger mistake was, it's alleged, when the man who was accused trying to blow up Kennedy Airport in America, New York, and the man died, he went to Mackenzie, it's alleged, and called the man a hero. When the whole world go against terrorism and try to stamp it out, a man who's a military man called a man who was accused for that terrorist act against New Yorkers and the airport die, he called the man a hero. That was another downfall for that man. Friends, Guyana is not an Indian country. It's Chinese, Portuguese, or African. It's an Amerindian country. The word Guyana means lands of plenty water. I heard the Kaieteur Falls refused to cry. 822 feet drop. No water running there, I heard. It's alleged. So I call upon Mr. Ali. If you believe in the teaching of Allah, you sit in England with interview, you talk about the slave trade and talk about Guyana lumber and the blood and sweat. You talk about the jungle. And yes, that is your prerogative, that's your right. But be more diplomatic. I don't think that when you was courting your wife, you was talking nonsense to her because she would never be your wife. You must be a little more polite. Come on, man. We are all men. But do you be blamed for 19 crimes, but yet for all, you are not in prison or you was not tried. Right? Because they are blaming you for that. Also, Barrett Jagdeo, they blame me for a lot of things, but none of you have been tried. So therefore, those are words. But nobody blamed Burnham for being the second richest black man in the late 70s and 80s. Come on, China give Arthur Chong 800 million US dollars. Where is the money? Did they pay it back? Under the PNC government, Marco Pandey, Prime Minister and Indian in Trinidad, had to write off millions of dollars debt for Guyana because of oil. Did where the money goes? Friends, I'm only asking question here. Then Mr. Barrett Jagdeo stated, and I'm going to use a lead steady in Queens, that Indians just forget what they say. They suffer with a disease called whatever. Say, he give Burnham daughter the whole back of the garden, she sell it and make a nice piece of change. Today, if Van Westphal is the husband of that woman, he was rising a party. I tried to be a member of it like with Joey and anybody, because I had wanted to change it for Guyana, where everybody will be able to unite. Marry any race of your choice. And you must get land to build your house and money to help you. All right? Anytime Burnham was a very great man by his great way of development. He developed more than Mr. Ali and more than Mr. Ramatar or more than Mr. Barrett Jagdeo. Listen to his development. Nationalize the bauxite company. Nationalize Bookers. Get rid of the train station from the three county. And I'm not going to say it in such a way that, let me be honest with you, out of 50 country ruled by black people, 1 or 2 are different and going up. Nigeria and Rwanda. All the rest have problem because the politicians are thieving and ruining the economy of the country and running it down. No politician in government should have share in nothing in the country because it will be a lot of handshake and curry favor, if you know what I mean. President, Prime Minister, ordinary minister. No, everybody, y'all look at them like if they're God. They're nothing but disease like ourselves. Friends, y'all may not like it, but our hands are clean. I keep saying it over and over. Give the United States of America a couple of islands on the Essequibo coast so they can put the base, the submarine and the ship to keep out the Venezuelan or anyone who trying to claim the land. If not, we will have problem. And bring the British back. And you could give them some island too, because if we get a war with Venezuela, Brazil is always there to help us. But they are Portuguese and black people and Native Indian. Come on, Ali. Be careful how you speak. Internationally, be a little more polite and diplomatic, because you're jeopardizing the welfare and the security of the country you are head of. If your wife stink to you, ignorant to you, you will have a problem in your own home. What about you go internationally, UN and others, and talk like that when you depend upon the same people? And if you don't want America and England, you go to Russia. It's the same European white people. Come on. And if you should back India, if I was in government, I'll tell you clear, have nothing to do with India. Not when they support Venezuela against you, or because you're a Muslim. I remember the mayor, he said, because he's a Hindu, you're a Muslim. Make you apply pressure on this. And I want you to know, Mr. Ali and other members in the parliament, Guyana is not your own. You all was only given a job. So when the right government comes, that's why I'm calling on the decent Indian and black people around the world who leave Guyana. Because a lot of black people have to run for their life. Because Burnham didn't like when they speak out. Rodney lost his life. I hear about Burnham's birthday, Jagan's birthday, the Memorial Day of Babu Jan, but I never hear one day something about those children who died in the Cuban airliner. And though on Rodney Day, Uini Dublin, Father Doc, I don't hear about those days. Are those out of the history book? Mr. Ali, in due respect to you, but I am not your judge. And our hands are clean to the country. But Allah shall judge you and judge the rest, or Bhagwan or God. But if Mr. Norton, the leader of the PNC, as APNU, APNU, after PNC, take my advice. Disassociate yourself from AFC. You can take the members in your party and form, let's get to a national front, under one condition. And same goes to the PPP. We must put an Amerindian to be the leader, followed by the mixed race, followed by the Portuguese and Chinese, because they never had a chance to rule nothing. Then bring the blacks, then the Indian. He who last will be first, and he who first will be last, said Jesus, not me. And for you, my black brothers and sisters around the world, stop telling people that Jesus was black because you all sung him very stupid. If he were black, was the white people killed was black people. All right? And if Muhammad was black, it was the white people he was fighting black people. Okay? And if Moses was black, he didn't throw that commandment in the face of Chinese and white and Indian, he threw it in the face of black people. Please. So I beg you all to come off of all those nonsense what you all read as history. Today with a cell phone, you see in the world for what it is. Respect your women, respect your men also. If you are a woman with your husband. Stop beating and killing your wife. And you women, stop going to the voodoo man. Take care of your husband, cook and feed and sit down and enjoy life with your children. In Guyana. So let it be known to all of you. Let's unite for a national front. We tried the PNC, was treachery, darkness, and a little corruption, but was done by the big one, as you said. Them big one. Nobody bigger than nobody. Everyone, man got 200 and something bones in the bloody body. Think. I know woman is better than another woman. The only difference of a woman is if you can't bring forth a child, but don't end up like Sarah and have a servant in your house, according to the Bible, and tell your man to go and have sex with your servant, because you should pick up your clothes and walk out when she get the baby. Or else you're going to end up like Israel and the Palestinian. One says shalom and the other one says salam. Come out of this hypocrisy, man. Respect Show your brothers and sisters and bring them together. Let's make this world a better place than going back 2,000, 20,000 years ago. Today I was looking at a clipping of a video was sent to me where our black brothers, I won't mention the name, he's a doctor, was talking about the exploitation about the cotton field and the sugar cane. And when I listened carefully, and he said, when the blacks or whoever get wise, drove them out, they said, take your sugar field, take your cotton field, but they didn't teach you how to make sugar, and they didn't teach you how to make cloth. Then later they come and offer you a price for your raw material. He might be right under one condition, but what you have to understand, as a preacher, as a doctor, he had on a three-piece suit and a spectacle. You should have taken it off and go naked and then talk to me. Come on. You cannot say that rum is not good, but you're drinking it. You cannot say you know poisoning good, but you're not drinking it, unless you want to commit suicide. So when these hypocrites bringing up all this history to corrupt modern generation, before let the past be the past and let's work for a better future. And all these fly-by-night priests, from the imam to the pandit to the English priest, you must send your tithes so they can pray for you. And the bigger seed you plant, is the more you're worth. Well, let me be honest with you. God give me a pair of seed and I grow nowhere else unless a woman get pregnant for me and bring forth my children. So come on. So if God give me 2 seed and everyone is an ounce, how could I put a bigger one for 1 ton? Something not right here, ladies and gentlemen. God is not that. And those money that is put in those plates for those priests is not to send them to enjoy life in England, Paris, fancy house and car and plane. Okay? Is to help back the church, keep the church going, help the poor. Can you have poor people in church? And no poor people that is working to make a living, barely can feed themselves and pay their bills, have to give God tithes. Has God got a bank better than Fort Knox up there? Or Swiss Bank? Hypocrites. And many of you priests telling the woman they got ghosts in their stomach, you want to help them, next thing you know, they get pregnant for you. Hypocrites, man. From the pandits to the imam, to the pandits, to the priests. Your days are coming, man. Come. Let's wake up to civilization and stop this nonsense. Stop all war. And you Indian in Guyana, stop going to the Obeah, man. Plenty of you going over to Paramaribo, Suriname. I know about it. I know about it many years. Plenty of you hustling to go to Haiti. Plenty of you. And when you go to India, you go and jump in a diseased river called the Ganges. And when you come back to Guyana, Mother Kali hold for you, you want somebody take it off for you. Let me be honest with you all. I'm not insulting you, got your blood in me. I don't have to be a Muslim, a Hindu, or a Christian. First, I am a human being. Whatever I want to follow, that's my prerogative, that's my way of thinking. Hindu can marry any woman. I don't care whether you turn a Muslim or Christian, you're still a woman. Whether you turn a Hindu, you're still a woman or a man. Why it have to be Hindu marry Hindu, Muslim marry Muslim, Christian marry Christian? That's only a religion, is a teaching. You're a physical effing human being. Come on. And the other thing, white must marry white, black must marry black. No. Put a black man with a white woman and a Chinese with an Indian woman, and if they may get pregnant, then that's the will of God. But if they get pregnant and bring forth, who the hell are you to stop it? Answer me. Y'all may not like it, but in every race, you have ignorant people, stupid people, foolish people, and I wouldn't use the other word. But you also have smart and wise people in all the race. Let's get civilized, stop criticize, and go forward and make this world a better place and unite for the common cause of the coming of great one, but take care of one another. Share. Show hospitality, not to get hostile with me or anybody because you don't like what I'm saying. Come on. In Guyana, between the two major races, black people is much more loving and caring than an Indian. Trust me, but you got great Indian people too. But we need to get a court for land dispute. And any surveyor that joined to rob a man of the land, you must be in the bottom of the jail. Or I will be fair with you, execute your ass. And the man who also bribed you, and I think, Mr. Ali, don't get me wrong, they say you have 19 counts, but I think they make mistake, it's 19 accounts. Well, they didn't say how much Barrett got, but they say, it's alleged, they say Barrett thief in a lot. Well, I don't know any of all of these people know these things. Why these men are still leaders and holding it? If you're running a bank, and the bank is losing the money, but then you hear the watchman and the banker are going all over, they got money, house, property. It's a time to close the bank and arrest them. But if y'all only talking and the bank still doing business, they're building bridges, they're building road, they're building lights, and I'm going to be honest, even if it value $1 million, they're going to give you 2-3 million. They're all thieves. All politicians are thieves. They thief your future. They thief your support. They thief your belief. So you could turn it how you like because you put them to do a job, but they don't do what you put them to do. And for you Guyanese, none of you should buy land, especially the Amerindian race. Indians are still holding on to Mother India, while the Africans are holding on to Mother Africa, but y'all ain't going. Let's change the equator. Open up the door of Guyana to Africa. India, the decent, honorable people make your laws. Okay? China, the Caribbean. And never forget those who stand at your side. Hugo Chavez, oil, and he give 120,000 Guyanese family land to build a house. Free water and light. Are y'all not ashamed in a country, like Mr. Ali says, is bigger than England and Scotland, and he's right? Let's change the equator. It don't have to rule by Indian and black people, Portuguese and Chinese. It must be an Amerindian, followed by the rest of the race, and we will stop the border dispute. Because the Amerindian could even claim Caracas, Rio de Janeiro, Guyana, and Paramaribo, because you are the great-grandchildren of slaves and cheap labor who occupy this country, while on the Venezuelan side is the great-grandchildren of pirates, conquerors. Take it from me, know your history, man. Juan Martin, the El Dorados. The streets is paved of gold. They be got a blindfold on him when they release it. He see a rock shining, say talk. Come on, gossip. Come on. Our neighboring country must live like brothers regardless of our language. But all the population from Brazil to Venezuela to Colombia to America, all over the Caribbean are foreigners, to the exception of the Amerindian. But some black historian put in my comments, black people was in Guyana before them Chinese-looking people called themselves Amerindian as indigenous. Let me know to you, friend. Then, lion, elephants was in Guyana and giraffe and camel before it get into Egypt and Saudi Arabia and Africa, okay? Learn a little bit more. You're talking to a man who traveled this world, okay? One thing all humans have in common, all women want a good husband. And all men want a good wife. Even though his mother may not have been good to his father. And his father may not have been good to his mother. He wants the best. And every woman praises our offspring. Every children come with its own message, my friend. They will have good and bad amongst us. We just have to be careful and try to bridge it, worship our God, unite and do what is right for humanity. Let's stop this black talk, white talk, brown talk, and other talk, and put the world forward. Come on. When I heard black people rule the world before, Jesus was black, tears come to my eye. And then again, maybe due to all of what you all have done in the past, may God put the lighter skin race to lead you and teach you something. And they give you a church and give you a white Jesus and teach you about love, care, and they tell you about tithes. And then the Muslim comes up with the Quran. Muhammad, he was ignorant, he didn't know to read and write. But Allah tell him, when Angel Gabriel tell him, Muhammad, write. He said, I can't read and I can't write. He said, Allah said, write, and the man write a Quran. It's an untouchable book, nothing changed unto this day. And he spoke about all the prophets. But I didn't see Rama Lakshman there, nor Sita, nor Mother Kali. Something not right. I wonder Brother Muhammad missed something, or maybe they hate India. Friends, stop this nonsense. All right? I didn't see the Bible even talk about these Hindu gods. But let's come up with this BS, because those gods could be things, but we must unite and make this world a better place. Let's work together to achieve the highest standard of living amongst human beings. And you in Guyana, plant up little food in your garden, not flower plant. All right? So I'm not going to blame the PPP government. I heard they talk about the oil. They talk about the oil. Oh, they have a right. But why are you talking? We have to negotiate a better price. All right? But they talk about the oil, but who was the one that signed all those contracts? Is it Tratman? I'm just saying something, it's alleged. Or is it Mr. Ramzatan? And I heard some of them was blamed at 18 million US or 22 million US. I'm not calling them, but let me know to y'all. America gets what America wants, because they are the architect around here. After World War II, they were giving the mandate, the Monroe Doctrine. Get it and read it. They believe in democracy and human rights. Even modern day politicians stray away from certain vital things for humanity. With this, I call upon the entire Guyanese population who living abroad. Stop fighting each other. And let's unite and go back to Guyana and form a national front government and put Guyana forward. Guyana is not India, China, Europe, or Africa. And the same way you spoke of your ancestor of Africa and what happened to your ancestors of slavery, or in India and others, just look at the Amerindian and understand it's their own. Will you all go to heaven and kick out Jesus? Muhammad? And if God walk like a man between you, will you all do him that? Man, you all got your days coming, hypocrites. Wake up! Stop it! Indians kill their own more than they kill anybody in Guyana. Poison them. Dead man water. Slow poison them. They insult one another more than insult anybody else. They even call you dog. A dog is a good animal, very loyal to their master. Well, they was not even loyal if there's a man, not loyal to his family. And if it was a woman, she didn't loyal to her husband or her family. But they call you dog. They all are disrespecting the four-legged animal. Huh? Then some of you get ready. You call each other jackass. The first transportation for human being with a camel. Y'all are not ashamed? My God, I remember a story on the West Coast. A man was doing his garden, planting and weeding, and he had an argument with his wife. And when she insulted him, next door had two donkey grazing, two jackass, I would say. She called him. He tell her how she's stupid, how she's a fool, she's uneducated. She said, yes, you bloody jackass. They both jackass who hear that lift up the tail and flip the ears and they say, they laugh his ass. Think of it. Think, my friends. I want to tell you today to wake up. Stop this. You young black people in Guyana, man and woman, stop going to parties and jumping up behind bands and putting tattoo on your skin. Actually going naked and parade because the politician give a little money and little food. Y'all gonna get land and house, close to election. Y'all gonna get a nice paycheck, close to election. And once y'all put them back, they're gonna be it again and they take it back in taxation. Food, they're gonna raise it. Every home deserves to have a TV, a fridge, a stove, and food in your house. Every family, a man and a wife and a kid deserve a piece of land and money to build your house. instead of renting house. And we must not forget the people who stand at our side in the Caribbean and elsewhere. So I call upon you, the patriotic Guyanese, to wake up to reality and let's unite and stop this fighting. The PNC members in parliament are not your friends. And the PPP are not your friends. They only for themselves. They are political opportunists. So therefore I call upon you, the patriotic Guyanese, to the will of Allah, Bhagwan or God, let's unite and elect somebody great that could bring peace amongst our people, and we work together to achieve human dignity and worship God and help the less fortunate around the world who are suffering for places to live. Down with the voodooism. Down with all racist hatred for one another. And don't run behind your politicians them like if they are God. You all are destroying yourself and your family. Love your mother, your father, your brother, your children, and God will also show his blessing upon you, but love him too. And I want to tell you clear. Subscribe to my channel if you care. And I am your host, George Correa. Thank you for listening, and if I offend you, I apologize. Thank you. May God be with all of us. Looking forward for National Front Government. Thanks.